Hi everyone. Welcome back into my kitchen, Cooking with Carol Diane. I'm Diane. I took a few minutes of a break this afternoon and I decided I would sit down and let's talk apples. It is getting to be almost fall around here. It's going to be an early fall, I think, my favorite time of the year. And I went to an orchard just down the road, not that far from me, that you can pick your own apples, but they're not ready yet. I have to wait another month. Even my nice little apple tree in the backyard, it's just not ready yet. They're pretty good size, they really are, but they're not ready just yet. There's all kinds of different apples to make all kinds of different recipes. And today I am going to make a recipe using apples, but they are the ones that come from the grocery store, but that's okay. I picked some really nice apples, and what I wanted to show you was, I'm going to go down memory lane for just a minute, get some more of my hot tea on this cool afternoon. What I want to show you is that apple picking, and if I was out picking the apples, I'd be getting a great big bowl just like this. So since I have to wait a month, and I wanted to make this recipe before a month went by, quite a while back I was sent this picture. And it is of my great-grandfather in an orchard, I don't know where, that he had picked a bunch of apples, and he is the one sitting in the chair. You can see this. He's the one sitting in the chair with all the apples in his lap. Now this is my great-grandfather, and his name is Charles Michael. My grandfather's name was Roy Charles. My father's name was Farrell Charles. I have a brother, his name is Charles Barnett, and I named my youngest son Troy Charles. So we just kind of use that name Charles, trickling down one generation after the next. This makes 5 generations of the name Charles that's in the family. And I thought that was kind of neat to show you today that my great-grandfather is sitting in some apple orchard someplace. He has his son-in-law, Harold Harrelson, who was married to my great-grandfather's daughter, May Ellen. But this right here is my great-grandpa. And he liked apples, apparently, and they like to be in the apple orchard picking their apples. Well, like I said, since I can't pick them today, I did go to the store and I bought pretty much the biggest one. Normally, it's the Red Delicious apple that is a great big huge apple, but these are called Cosmic Crisp. And they're a good apple, anything from eating it, from pies, cakes. You can slice these and put them with yams and brown sugar. That's always good. Most people, when they go to the store, you know, they're either looking for the Gala apple, which is a good eating apple, and it's good for making apple cider. Then there's what's called the Pink Lady, which is a nice little apple for eating also, or baking with that. The Cortland apple is for pies, sauces, and yes, making apple butter. There's always Granny Smith, which is more of a green apple on the outside. And yes, it's for baking. The Fuji is for eating. The Red Delicious, eating. The Golden Delicious, that's kind of a gold color with a little bit of red on the apple, again, for baking, sauces, make some apple butter out of that. And of course, the Honey Crisp for pies and baking. But today, I have chosen what's called the Cosmic Crisp. And you'll have the little sticker with the barcode in the grocery store that tells you, you know, what the apple is if you can't find the brand name on some tag or sign or whatever in the grocery store. Walmart, Sam's Club, your Costco, whatever store you purchase your fruit from, your food from. I didn't get back to the fruit and farm stands. It's a little drive for me to go over there, but I just thought, well, I need three of these apples to make what I'm going to make today. And so I thought that would be kind of fun to kind of go down the list of some apples that you're familiar with. There's all different kinds of brands, all different kinds of apples there really are. But those are just kind of the basic ones that you find all the time in your grocery store. And they're good apples. They really are. I can't wait. And I wish I'd saved the tag on my apple tree to know what kind of apple my apple is. I'm still hunting for the little tag because my husband gets mad at me that we plant the trees and then I don't leave the tag on there. I think it looks kind of tacky to have the tag hanging down from the tree. But you know what? It probably would have helped on this particular apple tree because I don't know what kind of apples they are. But I'll keep hunting for that little tag. Maybe I have it somewhere in my house. I don't know. So today, what am I going to make? I'm going to make just an apple cake. This is a recipe that I found in my recipe box that was my grandmother's. And it has a little different frosting that they used to make all the time in that generation, and I thought it would be fun to go back in time and make the cake on this kind of overcast day today. So now that we've talked about apples and my great-grandfather who sat and picked his apples and is right here in this chair, I thought that was really kind of cute. It's going to be fun to make my apples today. So let me jump right on over and start making the recipe and showing you how to make a nice apple cake. Okay, I'm over at my counter where I do some of my baking. And first things first, you need to turn your oven on to 350 degrees. And you're going to be putting this cake in a 9 by 13 pan, 13 by 9, however you want to call it, 9 by 13 pan. And what I'm going to do is, the recipe does call for a cup of oil, but I'm just going to take a napkin, dip my napkin in the oil, and get it into my 13 by 9 pan. Of greasing the sides of the pan. You don't have to flour the pan, just make sure it's nicely greased. So the pan's all greased, ready to go. Set that aside. Sort of set it aside here. Need a bigger counter on the end, don't I? Okay, so I'm gonna take my apples here, my cosmic apples. And first things first, so you want to start peeling the apple as far as getting all the skin off the apple. That's the first thing. You're going to need 3 cups of apples. So we'll just get this going. And I think you're going to like this cake. I know I'm going to like the cake. I know I'm going to like the cake. Cut the apple in half. Cut that in half. Remember me telling you the story of my grandmother, the one that made this cake. How everything with her was a saying, because she came from Oklahoma. My mother was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You would think I would talk like all the Southerners with y'all and all those little slangs, but I don't. I don't. But my grandmother did. She would say you all, y'all, all the time. She really would. So I'm just going to take the apple, and her saying was to cut it half in 2. There is no cut it half in 2. You either cut it in 2 or you cut it in half. There's no half in 2. There really isn't. Get you a bowl. Got my bowl here. And I'm going to cut these again, and then I'm just going to start going like this into my bowl here. Actually, if you really want to see it measured out, I guess we can do that before I put it in the bowl, because I know you guys like to see measurements, and I don't always do the measurements. I really don't. But it is 3 cups of the apples. Got on my grandma's apron. She wore this apron in her kitchen. They liked this style. Well, that grandma did anyway. She liked this style. Or the kind that were just the half aprons. Either one she would wear. But she liked this one. Okay, I'll get these fresh. They smell pretty good, they really do. I don't think as well as my apple tree that I've got out there. Because I tried one not that long ago, before it was ready, yes, but it was still crisp and nice. And I really liked it. I like an apple that's not soft or mushy, you know. I like one that has that crisp crunch to it. Crunch. Years ago at the fall time, I had a very dear friend that made apple butter all the time. Prize-winning, fair prize-winning apple butter. And her kitchen, because she had an apple orchard right next to the house, and she'd go out and pick all kinds of apples and bring them back in, and her kitchen was just filled with all those beautiful apples. And she would be just like taking a day and doing canning. Well, that's pretty much what she was doing. She would take an afternoon, you know, either morning or afternoon, and she would start doing the apple butter. It had the best flavor. I don't think I've ever tasted anybody's apple butter that was as nice as hers. There's just something about some people that have done it for years and years and years of making something, and they know how to do it right. They really do know how to do it right. I like to get that little hard piece out of the middle. I don't like it in there. Again, I'm just going to kind of chop it all up in here. It may not take 3 apples. I don't know. These are pretty good size apples. But we'll see. As long as you get the 3 cups, I think you'll be all right. I washed my apples very well. I always wash my anything, fruit or produce from the grocery store. I watched just getting these apples today. I watched a family, had some kids, and one of the kids you could tell had a runny nose. It was sniffing, you know, and carrying on. And that little kid went all over that store, touching everything, you know. And I thought, I don't need your stuffy nose all over my apple. So I'm definitely going to wash it when I get home. He didn't touch the apples. He wasn't in that area. But he was touching everything else in that store. Mother just oblivious to it, you know. She was in her own little world. I never was that way. Were you, when you were raising your family? I mean, I don't think I was a strict mom. It's just, my gosh, I had to watch them, you know. There was stair-step in age, and they were kind of here and there on different things, and I just know that I didn't let them get away with things out in the public like what mothers nowadays do. You know, they weren't allowed to fight or scream or throw their little tantrum in any way, shape, or form when we went to the store or went anywhere. And I'll never forget, okay, so this measuring cup is 2 cups. So I am going to pour that in the bowl now. That's 2 cups right there. Anyway, I'll never forget when Kmart, when we had our Kmarts, which I miss terribly. Oh, I miss my Kmart. It just has so many other things that Walmart does not carry. And anyway, I had taken them over to Kmart one day for some shopping. And this is times 4. And they were little. They really were. They were little kids. And we get the cart, and we get them in the cart and all that kind of stuff, the littler ones and stuff. Of course, the 2 bigger ones, they wanted to walk. Okay. But a couple of them, I think it was the 3rd and the oldest or something. I don't remember. Been too long. I've slept between now and then. Anyway, we got going, and all of a sudden, I mean, I hadn't even put anything in the basket yet. And they were fussing and carrying on, you know, fighting over, you know, they wanted this or a toy or they saw something. And they wouldn't stop. And I thought, no, don't care for this. And so I got the 2 out of the basket. I said, come on. Where are we going, Mom? You know, where are we going? We haven't even shopped yet. I said, no, we're not going to. And I took all of them out to the car. And Of course, back then, you know, you did discipline your children. And they got disciplined. And I thought, I'm not going to put up with that, this little tantrum, hissy fit that you're doing in the store for everybody to hear. And you know, nobody likes to hear that when they're shopping. And let me tell you, they didn't pull it again when we went shopping. But nowadays, you know, it's anything goes with the kids and what they want to do or say, or I don't know. I got one that lives right across from me, little tiny kids. I mean, they really are. They're little kids. And the things that comes out of that little boy's mouth, he's got to be only about maybe seven or 8 years old. And, you know, he's out there with the cuss words, you know, cussing up and down. And I'm thinking, well, you learn from your parents, you know, whoever you're around. And sure enough, that's how they talk. And you think your kids aren't going to talk that way? Well, let me tell you, they do. Trust me. Of course, mine are all grown and raised now. They're adults doing their own little thing. But they weren't allowed to say certain words or act a certain way, you know, out in public. I just wouldn't put up with it at all. Now, I don't really know why I told you that story or how I got off on that. But going to the store about apples and seeing your produce. Wash them. The main thing is to wash them. Wash. Okay, so now I've got a little bit more than a cup, but that's okay. It's kind of hard to judge on the bigger ones, but that's okay. So there's my apples, and I still have a half of one, well, almost another half here, but a good half of one that I can enjoy, just the apple. That'll be nice. All right, I'm going to set this aside a minute. You bear with me just a second. All right. Get all that cleaned up. So that's our apple mixture right there. Just the apples. Just the apples. Okay, and now what you're going to need is you're going to need to put some sugar in this, and you need 2 cups of sugar, which I already have out right here. So I'm going to mix that in there. All out from the bottom. Don't miss any little drop of it, because everything's so expensive now. You definitely want to get all of it. All of it. Okay, so my cheat sheet's right here, and I do need to follow this because I have not made this particular cake. So we want to combine the sugar and all of this. And then we want to add our 1 cup of oil, just household oil, into here. Okay. And then we need 3 eggs. 3 eggs, which are right here. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a fork right quick so that I can just kind of barely whip them up, because I think they need just a little bit. So I'm going to do that. Quick and easy little cake recipe. I think you all will like. I know I'm ready for something kind of sweet. I really am. I don't want too much on the eggs, but I do need them just mixed up enough. Just enough. And pour that in there. Trying to get that mixed around just a little bit. Okay, now our dry ingredients. Now let's see. I have one more thing here. 2 teaspoons. Good old vanilla. 2 teaspoons. Okay, let's see if I can read that today. There's 1. There's 2 of that. Bit of all this. Barely mix that together. That makes it smell good. All right, and now we need some dry ingredients, and you're going to need 3 cups of flour. So I am going to just put that in here of this mixing bowl because I want to mix my dry ingredients now. Just all-purpose flour. There's the 3 cups of that. And then I need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Baking soda. Trying to give that a toss in there. Now before I add that to anything, I'm going to need some pecans. And they want 1 cup of pecans. Clean up my mess here. My sticky mess. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my little chopper here. The one that I kind of like. Put my dishes in the way here. I just kind of like this one that I use quite often. Go. This is a little KitchenAid one, and I've shown it before, and it is on my website, cookingwithcaroldiane.com, that you can find it. Now, I need a cup, but because we're going to be chopping them up, we'll see how much this does. If you don't have a little food processor kind of like this, you know, you can chop them by hand, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do, chop them up. And that gives me pretty close to my cup, doesn't it? Ta-da! That's what I need right there. All right, I'm going to set this out of the way. So I don't have an accident with that, because you never know with me. I like to put my nuts, whether it's pecans, walnuts, whatever, in a nice little airtight jar. I've been trying to collect these little guys. All right, so then you're going to take, of course, the dry ingredients and stick that in here. Isn't this nice that I didn't have to get out the mixer to do this recipe? Yeah. Just kind of fold that in. Fold that in a little bit. Add your pecans. Seems like an awful lot of pecans, but not really. Not really. It's going to give it a nice taste. It really is. Now, this recipe at the very bottom, Grandma had wrote on here to add a little cinnamon in here, which I forgot to get. What else is new with me, huh? What else is new? I'll just get my little shaker one that I like to shake on cinnamon rolls and different things. Take this out so I can stir it just a little bit better. It's coming together. I want to make sure. Oh my gosh, adding that cinnamon. Just kind of want to get that flour incorporated in there. Where all those apples are. Nice apples. I suppose if you didn't want to take a 13 by 9 pan, if you want it larger, you know, raised a lot more, you could put it in a smaller pan. I just kind of remember that she did put this in a 13 by 9 Pyrex glass pan. I remember so many things about my grandma. I'm glad I lived close to her. I'm glad I got to spend time with her and that she showed me how to do so many things. Because because it's good to have a grandma that does that. It is. I try with my little granddaughter, Michaela, that I try to get her on the videos and different things to show her cooking so that she remembers. Okay, now we're going to stick all of, oh, the bowl weighs a ton. I got to change some things in my kitchen, I really do. And some of these bowls, pretty heavy. Yep, they are. Just want to get it all in here. Can't miss anything of it. Don't want to. And then you just want to spread that around. Now, my apples, you know, I left a little bit bigger than maybe if you wanted them that big. You can go really tiny on your apples. Whatever. But I decided to do it this way. I said, it's been a long time since I watched my grandma do this in her kitchen. She had a white kitchen, white cabinets in her kitchen, and then her countertops were that pretty turquoise color, and the appliances and stuff. It was really quite vintage and nice. So I'm vintage today, wearing my nice little apron with the pockets. I love ones with the pockets. I really do. Okay, now you're going to stick this in a 350-degree oven for a good 45 to 50 minutes. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Oven's all preheated, ready to go. Stick that in there and timer for, I'm going to go 45 to begin with. And then I'll let you know after that if it needed a little bit more or whatever. Usually with mine, it's kind of give or take. Every oven's different. So I'll catch you in just a few. I popped back on right quick. I'm not going to eat that other apple that was left over. I did slice it up nice. I'm going to put them in a bowl. Not going to waste anything. Put those in a bowl. I'm going to take probably a good tablespoon, how about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm going to add my cinnamon in there. I may add just a little tiny bit of regular sugar in here. And I'm going to stir that up. Make sure it's kind of coated on all my little apples. Because I'm going to stick these in the oven. Yeah. Just going to put it in here. My little tiny casserole dish to have some nice kind of baked apples. Soft ones. And then I will add a little bit of butter. Soft butter. Just a little bit. Not much, a little bit. That's a little bit. I'll pop that in the oven. Put it right in. Now I'll be back after I wait for my cake to cook. Okay, the cake is out of the oven. It smells pretty good. I went the entire 50 minutes of cooking it. I checked it at 45 minutes and then I gave it that extra 5 minutes just so it would be toothpick clean coming out, and it is. So now I wait. Unfortunately, I have to wait until this cake cools completely down before I can put the frosting on. And the frosting I have all set, ready to cook and make and show you how to do just as soon as this wonderful apple cake cools down. So I'll be back in a short while. Okay, I'm over here at my stove area where I'm going to begin to make the frosting for my apple cake. Yep. Okay, pretty simple. So what you will need to do is your pan and another pan handy with some ice in it. This pan, you're going to need a half a cup, which is one full stick here, is a half of butter, real butter. And go ahead and put that in your pan. Clear back in the day when my grandmother made things, this is how they made frostings and different things. They really did. It was kind of amazing, but they did. They didn't, I'm sure they had them in the grocery store of frostings. I don't know that they were in the little round tub containers back then, but I'm sure they had frosting, already made frosting. But I remember my grandmother making it from scratch. Okay, and then you're going to need some evaporated milk. I always get the Nestle Carnation evaporated milk, and you're going to need a quarter of a cup of evaporated milk. And I'll see if I can get this up. Some things with me are hard to do. There's my good quarter of a cup of that. That'll make it rich and tasty, isn't it? And then you're going to need 1 full cup of packed brown sugar. And you put all this in the pan at once. And then you'll need just a half a teaspoon of vanilla. I brought out this little guy, half a teaspoon. It's pretty good right there. Kind of cleaned off and put back. All right. Now you're going to cook this until it boils. We want to get a nice boil. We want everything incorporated and a nice boil. So do turn your heat up to high. Grab my hot pad here. And you're going to let this cook on high for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And that's gonna make all this brown sugar that's in here get caramelized nice. It's kind of a caramely flavor to this frosting. Oh my gosh, I can still smell that cake over there. It's cooling. Still cooling, a little bit more cooling. Boy, does it smell good. I like things that make your kitchen have that nice homey atmosphere. And anytime you're using cinnamon, you know, cinnamon spice and everything nice, anytime you're using cinnamon or nutmeg or any of those spices that really, you know, makes everything smell good in your kitchen, it makes it inviting where people want to come in your kitchen. See what all you're cooking in here. And I still like to cook at my age. I really do. I don't know when I'll give it up that I think, oh, I just don't want to do that anymore. Or, you know, go out to dinner all the time. Going out to dinner used to be a luxury. Now it is, I can't even think of the word for it right now when everything is so expensive. And going out to dinner is too. It really is. You know, to sit down and have a steak dinner. Oh, wow. You know, that was a treat even, you know, clear back in my 30s and 40s, I can remember if we went out to dinner and had a steak dinner, you know, that was quite a treat. It really was. And nowadays, it's like breaking the bank to go sit down and have a steak dinner. Yeah, it's pretty costly now on everything. It really is. All right, so my butter's almost melted. You can see that in here, it's just almost melted. But I need this to get to a boil. Boil, boil. If there's an apple cake that you remember growing up, send it to me. I like new recipes, I really do. I wish I had to come to a stopping point on my cookbook, but I wish I had incorporated this one in here. Next cookbook, okay? It's in the works right now, the next cookbook. really is. I've done quite a bit on it, and I think everybody will like it. Okay, I want to constantly keep stirring this because I don't want it to burn. I want a high temperature, but I don't want it so much that it's going to burn, scorch on the bottom. Don't want that. So I'm just going to kind of keep stirring it here until I see the bubbles that it's forming the boil. And it's almost there. Almost. It's getting there, but I want it just a little bit more. I thought my timers were real handy, so I'm just going to use my microwave. It works in a pinch too. It really does. Okay, it is boiling, so now I'm going to put, whoops, I had to cancel what I had done earlier. There we go. Now we're going to cook this for 2 minutes on the boil. And it's just boiling away. Lots of big bubbles. Keep stirring it. Keep stirring. Stir, stir, stir. So much better when you make something, I think, homemade. I really do. I really recommend it. All you young people out there, stop going to the store and buying that store-bought cake and the frosting when, you know, just a few little extra steps like this and you have something pretty tasty. You really do. And the memories, you know, the memories. Grandma always had a nice, fresh pot of coffee going with her cake. And believe it or not, I mean, we're Folgers people in my family, have been for years. But I remember that my grandmother drank MJB coffee. It came in the green coffee metal cans back in those days. And that's what she drank. She liked the taste of it. And nothing wrong with that. She drank her coffee black like my mother. Just black, nothing in it, no sugar, no cream, nothing like that. My grandpa had to have his sugar and everything. Oh my gosh, he ate a lot of sugar. He really did over the years. It's not what killed him. But he did go through the sugar. He liked it in his iced tea, coffee, whatever. Okay, it's 2 minutes now. So shut your heat off. And now what I'm going to do, get my other hot pad here. And this is where I want to set it now on the ice. I'm going to put it on this ice right here. And that's going to stop the cooking process, and it is going to start cooling it down. Then you take a mixer. Now, because I'm using my pans, I have the Teflon coated mixer, and that's what I want. And then you're just going to start now whipping it until you get it the consistency of a spreadable frosting. This has a really pretty caramel color to it. Almost like the caramel candies, you know, that you unwrap the little square ones when you're making caramel apples. Yeah, this is going to be quite nice. Just want to mix it. So it starts getting a lot thicker. Or I can put this right on that cake. But you should have brought the cake over, and I do apologize for that. I might be able to sneak it over here in a minute. I might. I want to get this frosting. I'm telling you, see, it just, it looks almost like caramels that you eat. We're gonna let it go just a little bit more. So it kind of cools down. Now it cools down. Looking real pretty. Real nice. My grandma was here, she'd say, yep, that's what it's supposed to look like. Yep. Let me grab the cake right quick. Bring it on over here. Set it right here for you. And I don't know, let me, that's really good. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. I just like the consistency of it there. Get that not to work. It's going to drip on the bottom all the way over. And we're going to pour this now on the cake. Look at that. Pour this and start spreading that all on your cake. Look how good this is going to be, huh? Oh, I wish you were in my kitchen right now just to smell. Get that one little chunk of brown sugar out of there. Wow. Wow, wow. Get it evenly, as much as you can. And this makes enough, you know, to go the entire cake. We don't need it any more than that. We really don't. Then to jazz it up, take your pecans. Now I would take some whole ones and put them in the area where you are going to cut, you know, your cake. Just kind of guess at how big you want your slices and put them in here. Put some whole ones here. Another one right there, and of course one down here. Right in there. I see. Have to end that. Everything in my house talks to me. You have that with different appliances. Washer and dryer talk to me. Refrigerator talks to me. If I don't shut the door, it'll talk to me. Okay, let's jump on over to the table. I'm going to slice me a piece of this nice cake. I'll tell you how it is. Okay, I'm over here at my table now. And my little apples that I did in the little tiny casserole pan, they're going to be great for just snacking on or whatever I want. They turned out great. They really did. Like I said, I wish I'd put this in my cookbook. This is my cookbook, Cooking with Carol Diane. You can find it on my website, cookingwithcaroldiane.com. It is for sale. So jump right on there and let me know that you want one, okay? For my great-grandfather, I'm going to, whose name was Charles Michael, I am going to really enjoy this cake. I'm pretty sure I am. So let me see if I can get a slice of this out of here without making too much of a mess all over my tablecloth. Because I'm good at that. I am real good at making a big mess out of things. And I'll help it along. Oh yeah, look at there. Wow. Don't know if you can see that. I'll get it up real close for you to see. said the smell is just wonderful. So let me take a bite and I'll tell you what this is all about. Oh, no wonder my grandma made it a lot. This is really good. It has so much flavor for so little ingredients that I used. Really, I didn't use that much. I didn't use a lot of spices. I threw in the cinnamon at the last because on the recipe, she just said a sprinkle of cinnamon. Okay, a sprinkle of cinnamon is kind of what I did with my shaker of cinnamon that I used. So this is good. This is quite a treat that I've given myself today, and I'm so glad that I did. I am so happy that you have popped back on to watch my little video in my kitchen today, and I hope you return with each video that I do. If you watch me on YouTube, please subscribe so that you can see me over and over again on my different videos. If you're watching me on Facebook, hit the follow button so that you can see the next video that I make. Either way, I'm just blessed that you have come into my kitchen and are enjoying the things that I like to cook, that I enjoy. And this is definitely one of them. This will be in my next cookbook, that's for sure. It definitely will. I hope you're all having a grand day today. From my kitchen to yours, this is Cooking with Carol Diane. Go have a wonderful afternoon or evening, whichever it is. Bye-bye now.